Welcome, welcome in, everyone. We are welcoming you to the How to Get More Clients show, which is about visibility strategies for speakers, authors, and experts. Now, we are going to cover strategies, the top strategies for growing your business by leveraging your message. When you actively accelerate your visibility, you're going to create that credibility. You'll build your brand awareness and showcase your expertise. And ultimately, you become the go-to authority in your niche. So we'll be doing this series once a month for you. And today's topic and visibility strategy is the value of showing up. And welcome, Gail Watson, founder of Women Speakers Association.
Good to be here. I love this new series that we're going to be doing to really help people gain more clients through using some great visibility strategies.
I know. And this one I think is foundational. The value of showing up. What comes to mind when you think of that?
Showing up. Well, it's a big piece. And often we'll just think of showing up as attending something, right? But where it really hit home for me, where I really understood the true power of showing up came from an experience I had going back probably about, 20 years. I was presenting training programs into a Fortune 500, a major telco. And what had happened was, so through a series of presentations and doing lunch and learns and things like this, there would be moments where I'd have to now go to the boardroom table for negotiation. Okay. So I went to that boardroom 6 times throughout, and we're going to take the lifespan here of it. It's a 3-year time commit. I was doing very minimal business in there, $2,000 training contract. Year later, it turned into a 50. Okay. Each time when I went to that boardroom table for the big deal, I was met with a no. No. So out of those 6 times, twice I ended up back in the parking lot crying in my car. On the 7th time I went back, and I remember walking in there just feeling like, oh yeah, here we go again. On that 7th time coming in the last 60 seconds the last minute of that meeting, the executive vice president stood up and said, all right, we're going to do a deal. And she turned to me and she said, do you have any questions? And I said, in shock, I said, just one. Why now? And she goes, because you keep coming back to the table. And I thought that was at the question at that time. I thought that was a really odd answer and I didn't fully understand it. But when I take a look at it today and look back on that, I get it now. Showing up matters, regardless how uncomfortable we are, overcoming those feelings of bugging somebody. But it really said something more than that to me. It really said how people watch us. And oh, by the way, that contract was $14 million over 3 years moving forward.
So what kept you going back? Like, because we do have those things in our head. I don't want to be pushy. And also, why did they keep letting you come back?
What I think, well, when you're dealing at that level, at executive level, they are watching you. Okay. So if you're a person right now wanting to get into corporate speaking, know that you're watched. Businesses don't want fly by night kind of to come in and not know that they have somebody reliable or not know that they have somebody that's going to deliver when they say they're going to deliver. So for example, if you're getting booked in and this is the time you need to be here, that's the time that you're expected. And the testing, actually that's what I call it, is it's almost like you're being tested the whole way through, meeting with all different kinds of departments. If you might have started off, I started off in the learning and development section and went into sales, went into the marketing department. And each one of those times you're making separate appointments. Well, if I was a person that showed up late, if I was a person that didn't even arrive, I'm sure there would have been a lot of talk in the background of unreliability. So it is a testing ground, and I just really have always been conscious that people watch. It's why today, I mean, my family can tell you, when I have an appointment, I am there early. I am there at least 15 minutes early, because if you're not early, what are you?
You're late.
There we go. So 15 minutes early, and then prior to that, you're navigating traffic, you're keeping all of that in mind to make sure that you're there at that 15 minutes earlier time. So yeah, I think you're
Amazing.
just
So my takeaway from those is be consistent, keep your appointments, be the person they want to hire. And those first two things will help. But the third thing that helps is have the message that resonates.
absolutely.
Keep showing up and with that message and keep, I mean, you really have to be aware is if your message was resonating, because it sounds like the way you kept getting back into the boardroom is, you had a message that resonated, they weren't ready for it, they didn't know you well enough, but every encounter they have with you is another opportunity to get to know them and them to get to know you, more importantly.
Mm-hmm. I've always said, and when I got started in speaking and did a really deep dive in my unique niche of who I am, I did come up with the power is who you are, not what you do. It's not about what you're doing, it's who you are. And when we're building our businesses, we spend a lot of time saying, oh, well, this is my coaching program. It's unique in this way. It's unique in that way. And we want to present that. And that's great because there is a time where you do, present those differentiating qualities or attributes to your product or service. But we have to even go back further and really understand us in terms of what is our personal power? What is our personal uniqueness? And this is really, really important because it's that understanding and that knowing that gives us the confidence to keep going back, to keep knocking on the door when the door is closed, when somebody has said no to you 6 times and then you finally get it. I mean, we were just doing a speaker success training yesterday, and I shared that story, and we asked, you know, when would you stop? And ask yourself that right now. If you were in that situation, when would you have stopped? And most people was like, 2 or 3 times. It's knowing who we are and what we're bringing and that belief system in that we can keep showing up consistently like a pro, always being early, always being, um, and understanding that journey that we're doing. So when we really know who we are and our product, we can map that out. I could go back 20 times and have something different each time. So that's the confidence to know what to say next and when to say next until we uncover that, yes.
Yeah, because it's only a no for now. It's the way I think you hear it when you walk out of that boardroom. It's like, okay, now's not the right time. There's something in their way, but I still know they need it. As long as you still know they need it and they do want a resolution, then it feels like that's the way to talk to yourself, not like justify, well, they obviously don't want me, so I don't need to go back, or, oh, I'm too busy, the dog just threw up, or whatever it is, right? The life self-sabotage we allow that it to be versus the planning with the intention, the connection to our unique message, and the belief in it and the reinforcement of that can keep us on track to show up. Anything else you'd add
Absolutely.
to that?
Well, I would also add, there's a lot of language and I hear it over and over is I don't want to be salesy,
Mm-hmm.
you know, thinking that showing up and to meet with somebody to sit and talk about their needs and you know that you can help those needs. Why is that being salesy? What you're really wanting to do here is join a partnership with this individual. So you're bringing your expert and helping and giving them what they need. That's not salesy. I'm telling you, when someone is hitting you with no's over and over, there's something way, way down deep behind that, right? One, well, there's probably a combination of things going on now that I think of it. One, you have not uncovered all the objections that that person is thinking about. That's why it's still a no. That means more conversations. Okay, golden opportunity. Knock back on that door, pick up that call, book that Zoom meeting, keep the conversation going. Keep your questions going. Keep uncovering until now they're feeling that trust that you can truly help them. Simple conversations. The other thing is, remember my golden lesson. People are watching you. They're watching what you do, not what you're saying. This is all about actions are speaking louder than words. And if it is a negative action, believe me, the conversation behind the scenes on that will be spread. So you're managing, you're juggling a few different things here. But it's really taking that understanding and putting into play that any kind of no or is not personal, but showing up over and over is key.
And I want to highlight something you said, ask them the questions, keeping the conversation. And you said, until they feel that you, and they trust that you can help them.
Yeah.
So that word salesy, that S word we don't want to say, I always invite, especially people who are introverts and have that tendency to be conflict averse, to change the word sales into serve or serving. Because if you're truly have something that can help them, you need to serve them. You need to keep going back and asking them about their challenges, their goals, and your offers that speak right into them once they acknowledge what those challenges and desires and solutions they're seeking are. And you ask for permission. And you do that by not being pushy, but by being persistent in your service and wanting to serve them so that they do trust you. And I like to tell people when I'm doing a lot of either sales coaching, even online marketing coaching, it's like, you've got to show up to serve them, you can't find out what they need until you talk to them, right? You won't know. And then, you need to know your unique style and offer and solution that helps them.
Absolutely. So if we break it down into the different communities we're involved with, if you're a person out there networking and you're a business coach or a trainer and you're looking for that one-on-one type interaction, the same rules apply. When you're booking time with an individual and they're giving you that time and they put time in their calendar and you no-show, how do you feel, right? How does that feel when somebody just no-shows you? Is your time not as valuable as theirs? Now things come up. We get caught in traffic. We get called away. That's fine. But communication is so easy these days, where it's easy, a quick email, a quick text to say, my apologies, I'm not able to make our time. Are you willing to reschedule? Are you able to reschedule? Just simple communications that way is really, really critical. Something happened over the last 4 years that
Something.
and while we all moved into an online world in a strong way, I don't know, the etiquette or the respect of people's time has gone out the window. It's so easy to book somebody's time. Great. but we don't need to show up. They've probably got other things going on. So this is really important. Do unto others, right? You're a business owner out there. You're running your business. It is so important to, if you're looking for that respect back, if you're looking to be treated that way, make sure that's what you're doing as well. Show up with that same kind of presence that you would want somebody to show up for you.
Yeah, I think it goes a long way. I think it also subconsciously makes, when you show up consistently, you have more self-confidence. When you don't show up, your confidence is, there's a chink in the armor there. And you're at some level, you know, you're not reliable. And that comes through when you're actually get face-to-face with the prospect you want to close as a new client, a new speaking engagement, an event coordinator, because you're not proving to yourself you're even reliable. So just that one little shift to make sure every appointment you book, you show up for, with especially the one-on-ones, you know, that is what people notice.
Absolutely.
And then the communication, like you said, is like, okay, why wouldn't you communicate if you can't be there? That's so, it's so disrespectful. You might as well never show up with that again with that person, you know. It's like, okay. Unless it's like a total, like you can't help it, or you know, and you apologize groveling, you know, type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's, of course, we have that understanding and we can be forgiving. It's amazing how many of the excuses are the exact same, but I'm just saying. But I always look at every conversation I have with somebody. They may be not somebody that I'm actually going to be doing business with, but they are somebody that could potentially introduce me to somebody that would have a connection for me. And so that's why it's so important going into that conversation. If you're coming into a conversation with somebody, you know that they're not going to be someone buying your coaching program or something, but they are somebody who could be helpful.
Yep. You know,
And,
go ahead.
and I'm just going to follow through with that. That's why it's important to keep those appointments, show up on time, because that person has the potential to introduce you. Now, how are they going to introduce you? Oh yeah, they came late 20 minutes to my call or something. I mean, what's the language you're giving them to say? Oh, this person was amazingly prompt. This person showed up fully prepared. I mean, these are the kind of recommendations that now you empower that person to give to somebody else on your behalf.
I love it. And then once you show up, you may make sure you're prepared. Like, you got to know, get your head in the game ahead of time. And I love that you go 15 minutes early, or I know I'm always reviewing my notes from the past call. I'm also reviewing my intention and the key things that I think are going to be valuable. And most importantly, the questions I want answered. Because the person who's asking the questions is the person who's really in control and doing the serving, you know, and is positioning themselves as the expert. Because what kind of doctor do you want to go to? The one that you go to and says, I have a stuffy nose, and he says, okay, well, just take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning. Or the one that says, how long has it been stuffy for? What color is your snot? What color, you know, how long are you coughing? Do you have any chest pain? Do you have an earache? Let me look in your ears. Let me look at your throat. You know, the one who's asking the questions and really making a diagnosis is the one who's the expert, because they know enough to ask. The ones with hubris and just say, hey, I'm, you know, the only remedy I have is aspirin, so take it, you know, it's like they're questionable. So if you show up prepared to ask certain questions and think on your feet and know their background and then be rooted in your uniqueness, your offering, and your message, there's no stopping you. And all you're going to do is serve.
Yes. Yeah. No, this is all really important. And the takeaway here is really knowing people, you are always being watched, right? for both the good too. Remember, all the good you're doing, that's also being watched. And that Charmaine Hammond calls it good gossiping. I was good gossiping about you. She's an individual that will always be talking about somebody. And she's taking the positivity she sees in people and she's sharing it.
Yeah.
You want that real estate on her tongue to be
Yeah.
sharing that kind of information. So that second piece is do unto others, respect. If you book a time, keep the time. If you can't make it, then, things do show up. But know the person on the other end has a schedule as well. And you don't know what they're juggling to make sure that they meet your time. So it's really, really important. Like, give that time for that individual, as much time as possible to be able to. And what is it in the legal world, in the doctor world? They charge you for not showing up to your appointments.
And they do.
Because they value and they have that business structure in their business that, and just like if you're a coach out there and you have a coaching client, they don't show you, I'm sure that you dock that as time because you made the time.
Yeah. And the more you show up, the more clients you're going to get. Just bottom line. And you never know where it's going to come from. You may show up here, but get a client there. But what you sow, you reap. So just follow that golden rule as well. And of course, we can do a whole show on this.
Oh,
Probably need to is follow up afterwards.
oh, let's do a talk on follow up because yeah, that's a key one. That's another one where you don't want to bug people, right?
Right. We're calling it out here, and we're going to help you get over it because this is so important. It's so rich, and it's so it's going to make a difference for you in the results you get in getting more clients, in getting on more stages, in being seen as the go-to authority in your field. So
and that's the goal here. Yeah, I'm so excited too. So how about we do this? This just came to me. Is if you've watched this and we've struck a nerve, hit a nerve, is there something you disagree with that we said, something you agree with? Is there a takeaway? Let's keep this conversation going. There is chat, obviously, here, and that you can make your comments on.
Yeah.
I'd love to keep this going. I'd love to get your opinion on this. If you have a story that you want to share, if there's anything that you want that maybe you feel a little bit embarrassed about or don't want it so public, you know what? Feel free to DM me. Just DM me, Gail Watson, through any of our social media channels, because I'd love to help you really reword or reframe anything that's holding you back from really showing up into the powerful person that you are. So.
And meeting with Gail will shift your life. So that's a very generous offer. I love that you did that. We are here for you to help you grow your visibility and get more clients. We'll be back with you next month for another episode of our How to Get More Clients show with visibility strategies for speakers, authors, and experts. Thank you so much, Gail.
Thank you, Laura. Loved all your tips and strategies too.
Yeah, very cool. It was an awesome show.